What is up, my nerds, and welcome back to the Nerdy Mind, the place where we break down anime, video games, and everything nerd culture. And I'm your host, Shane, and oh boy, we're diving into something every gamer has an opinion about, and it is video game to movie/TV show adaptations. Some absolutely crush, and some are what you could say a dumpster fire. But before we get started, please hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more content like this. Let's get into it. Ah, yes, the old classic. Hollywood wants to take your favorite gaming characters and bring them into the big screen or your comfy living room. And sometimes they are a must-watch, and sometimes they are a flop. But we are going to overall give rankings. We're going to give S-tier ranking, which I would consider like a masterpiece tier. Or we can hit all the way down to D and F tier, which I consider a dumpster fire. Things that you would throw in the dumpster for fuel to keep yourself warm on these cold winter days. So let's get into it. Let's start off with S tier, high ranking. And I don't think it would be an S tier if I wouldn't mention this. And I think this game and this show had such a big, and still does have a huge cult following, that I don't think I could leave it off my list. And I think you could already guess it. Maybe you can't. That would be Last of Us. Yes, Last of Us from Naughty Dog. I love Last of Us. It absolutely terrified and kept me awake at night from my nightmares. But overall, the gameplay was amazing. I don't remember playing a post-apocalyptic game other than the early Resident Evils that really kept me on edge while playing. I mean, you playing as Joel and having Ellie run around with you and overall trying to find the great cure for the zombie apocalypse. I absolutely love this game, and there was such a great cult following that HBO Max decided to create a TV show following the game. Pedro Pascal definitely played an amazing Joel. I wouldn't have picked any other actor to play Joel other than him, in my opinion. And note that everything in this episode is my opinion. I can be absolutely wrong in your eyes, but again, that's what makes it
an opinion.
Bella Ramsey playing Ellie, I think it was a good fit. Overall, what I loved about this show and what I loved about overall what HBO did is that they stuck, I would think, more close. I'm not going to say absolutely close, but more close to the source material of the game than most other Hollywood productions. Yes, as always, Hollywood has its own, creative overall writings with the show and overall what happens in the game. It can't be a one for one. Sometimes when you go from one medium to another medium, it doesn't really compute well. But I think with Last of Us and what HBO did, they absolutely was able to captivate what we got to experience. I mean, do you remember the scene when they heard the clickers for the first time? Click, 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 click. I'm a monster. I'm going to eat you. I'm going to eat you real good. Yeah. I remember hearing that in the game when you first started. The overall clicking and crackling of the echoes in the subways. You absolutely were ready to have a Molotov or some type of bat, pipe, or whatever to bash that clicker's head in, so that way you were not caught off guard. So what do you think? Last of Us S tier? I think so. Next in my list for S tier, yeah. I will be honest, I did not play these games, but after watching the show on Netflix, I had to give them a chance. And nothing hits better for an anime fan than Castlevania. When you think anime, you really don't think Netflix. I could be wrong, but usually you think Crunchyroll, Funimation. That's anime. But Netflix came in with a banger with Castlevania. Castlevania for me, The fight scenes alone were amazing, but the storytelling was top tier, S tier in my opinion. Who doesn't like a protagonist like Trevor Belmont? A snarky, arrogant beefcake of a man, but has the abilities to back it up. Goes toe to toe with death himself. If you haven't seen it, I am sorry for the spoilers. But yes, Trevor Belmont goes toe to toe with death. Not only taking on vampires, werewolves, and every ghoul possible, he takes on death. And you know what? That scene, when he fights death, you are just witnessing, like, I think, peak animation. Other than, don't get me wrong, Demon Slayer. But I couldn't believe the artistic ability of the choreography that they were doing in this show of Castlevania. Not only was the show great, but the darkness and grittiness of the medieval era made it even that much better and showed the arrogance of humans. Dracula was trying to just live his life, found a love for someone, and, they took it away from him. You I don't know if y'all have your stuff together, but someone burned my wife to the stake. I think I might go a little crazy like he did too. But not only was the voice acting amazing, art was amazing, fight scenes amazing, just the overall sheer storytelling and animation is just what makes it a top tier, S tier for me. What do you think? Castlevania make it your S tier? All right. So now we're getting into AB. AB tier. This is a good adaptation. This doesn't take away from them not being S tier. They are good. They are absolutely amazing, but they just couldn't reach that peak S tier in my opinion. The first one in my AB good tier would be Super Mario Brothers. Came out in 2023. I thought that the Super Mario Brothers that came out 2 years ago in theaters was a great adaptation of what we think of Super Mario Brothers. I think for what Mario is, and then bringing it to the big screen and giving them life of characters and showing them from being actual plumbers in the trade to going into a world that they've never seen before and kind of learning skills on the cuff. Plus with having Charlie Day as Luigi and humor is pretty great. Jack Black as Bowser, Chris Paz Mario, and just having the jokes in there and bringing the humor to the Mushroom Kingdom is pretty cool. Animation was amazing in my opinion, and overall I think it was a solid movie, especially for what, like I said, what Mario is. Definitely a movie you could come back to and watch if you're bored or have fun. That's why I think it's in a good tier. It's not like a movie where you're like, one and done, don't need to really watch it again. I think I would love to, on a Saturday morning or evening or even late night, if I'm bored, I'd throw it on there and watch it again. Now I might get a little hate for this one, but to me, I put it in the good category, but this is just say high good category in the AB. It was almost in S tier for me, but I just put it down a little bit lower because there are some things that I would change, but it would be Sonic Hedgehog 1 and 2. And now we have 3 coming out. Yes, Sonic the Hedgehog. Yes, Sonic the Hedgehog, our quirky, funny, goofy friend from overall Sega. I think that this was an amazing movie. I remember when they first were coming out and they showed you the first animations for Sonic, and it was very freaky because his face was his eyes were small, and he kind of was they were kind of going for a more realistic hedgehog look. And I am so happy that they decided to listen to the fans and make him more cartoonish for him coming into live action. The jokes are great. Again, I might be out of range for the age bracket for the movies, but I do watch them and they are great. Like I said, I wouldn't even put this as good. It would be more great tier for me, but I don't really have a great tier. But it'd be great. Jim Carrey is one of my favorite actors, comedian actors, and him playing as Robotnik is so funny. And his humor comes out even more when Sonic the Hedgehog 2 comes out. They knew what works. They knew what jokes to land, and Jim Carrey just being Jim Carrey is just always a chef's kiss, essentially. Now, this takes nothing away from Sonic. It wasn't groundbreaking cinema. It was just wholesome and fun. So that's why I put it in the good tier. Overall, let me know what you think. All right. So now we're getting into just middle. Like, if you're bored and you want to watch something, you're just trying to kill some time, I would kind of consider this like mediocrity type of content. So this is more C tier, okay? Middle ground. The first one that comes to my list, and it hurts me to say this because I love the games. I'm a huge Sony fan. I'm a huge Sony boy. I grew up on Sony, and I grew up on this cult classic, and you probably could already guess it, and is Uncharted. Now, I love Tom Holland. Tom Holland as Spider-Man, awesome. But Tom Holland as Nathan Drake, there was other options, in my opinion. Like him. Or him. Mark Wahlberg also as Sully, and him kind of doing his Boston-ish accent, kind of threw it off for me. Sully is rugged, and he's seen some stuff. Kind of salt of the earth type of guy. But him playing Sully is kind of interesting. Now I know what you're saying. It's a younger Sully, and he's a younger Nathan Drake. I get it. But I wasn't sold on it. I watched the movie, and, I'll watch it time to time again if I'm bored. But I wouldn't say that it's A, B tier, or S tier, because it was just blasé to me. It just felt like more of a generic treasure hunting movie than Uncharted. I mean, remember when you played Uncharted for the first time and you get to hear the snarky remarks of Nathan and get to do the crazy acrobatics and cinematic scenes in the original games? That's why I would consider it more just middle level. Now, this one, I never played the games. I never got into it, only because of the subscription thing. When I was young, I didn't have money really to pay for something like this, and it would be World of Warcraft. Now, watching the movie, the overall movie itself was gorgeous in my opinion, but the storytelling was kind of messy, and I kind of was struggling to follow along. But from what I've read, fans really did appreciate them at least attempting to make the movie. For me, not playing the games and not really understanding the backstories of the games, it was hard for me to follow along. To me, what makes it onto a C tier just seemed like just a regular fantasy movie being made. Trolls and ogres and men fighting. So that's what I have for C tier. What do you think of that? Would you put them at C tier, or would you put them lower in the list or higher? Let me know. All right, here we go. Here is D and F tier. I'm putting these together because, be honest, if you're in D tier, there is not much you can do to make it. To me, if you're in D, you might as well be in F, because if C is like passing the time, then D is like, why waste your time? D and F are what I consider dumpster fire. Like, let's light a fire with these movies because we're cold out here, and they're better off for fuel than overall watch them. This movie came out when I was born. Showing my age, I may be older than most, but I may be younger than most who are watching. But this was the first attempt for a Mario movie. Came out in 1993 and is the Super Mario Brothers. I have watched this movie a few times, and I thought it was cool as a kid. But after rewatching it as an adult, I'm like, what is this trash? It mixed cyberpunk with sewer grunge look. I mean, let's just say the Goombas were just mutant-looking dinosaurs. Humans got mutated into Goombas. The main actors, Bob and John, hated the movie the whole time they were on set. This movie is just legendary for being bad. I mean, this movie just made no sense. Bowser, aka King Koopa, was a human and then got hit with the laser thing that transformed him into a T-Rex-like creature. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to have any critiques on that one. I think everyone would agree that one is fine where it's at. Next on my list is Doom. I played a little bit of Doom. Doom guy. Iconic character. And I was very interested in how they would bring Doom into the overall big screen. You got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson doing Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson things. I love Carl Urban. Is that his name? Yeah. Aramir. That's what I see him as. I don't see him on Doom being a Doom guy, you know. This movie was it was just a sci-fi movie to me. Like, if it wasn't called Doom, it would just be Space Marine. You know, just make it a Space Marine movie. To me, the only cool part of the movie was leading up to the first-person viewpoint of the, like, at the end, when he's got the super soldier serum, like, injected into him, and then he overall gives the first person view, him picking up shotguns and blasting the demon creatures, and then he has a chainsaw chopping them in half, and then all of a sudden it shoots back to him looking into the mirror, and then it swaps scenes. And I'm like, that, honestly, if you made the whole movie like that, I kind of would have been a little more intrigued. But I would say the last end scenes is what made that movie pretty interesting. But overall, the acting was and, you know, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was kind of a tool in this movie, so, you know, makes sense. I'm not saying he's a tool in general. I'm just saying him playing a tool is kind of believable, especially from his days in the WWE. Do you agree Doom should be on this list, down into D or F tier? Sorry if I offend you if you really like these movies. It's just my opinion, and you can absolutely argue in the comments. All right, guys. So, we're last on my list. Now, the reason why I put this one last, below Super Mario Brothers of 1993, is because I had high hopes for this one. I had amazing anticipation. I couldn't believe that they were making this, and I couldn't wait for it to come out. And boy, oh boy, was I wrong when it did. So, let's talk about Halo. This show had so much potential that I could freaking punch a hole in the wall after watching it. I mean, Master Chief, the Covenant, overall little grunts running around screaming for their lives. What is one thing that The Mandalorian did better than Halo? One thing. Okay, let's be honest. They did a lot of things. Mandalorian's amazing. S tier. But there's one thing the Mandalorian stuck to, and I love that they stuck to it. And Halo needed to stick to this. And I guarantee you, if they did, it might have been a little bit different. Now, there's tiers to this. There's things about this show that they did wrong that I will go list on. But there's one thing that they did within seconds of the show airing. And is Master Chief taking off his helmet. Tell me, when watching the source material, where you were like, why doesn't Master Chief ever show his face? That is the mystery. We don't know who Master Chief is. We don't know his identity. We've played every game in hopes that we would see the iconic Master Chief face, and we don't. That's what keeps us coming. That's what keeps us playing. Maybe one day we will see it. You see little side views, but you don't actually see that mug of his. Also, later in the games, Master Chief does have overall personal dilemmas, separation anxiety, because Cortana is having malfunctions, and him losing Cortana is like losing a part of himself. They've been through a lot together, so it was like losing someone he loved, and that kind of broke him a little bit, and understandably too. Cortana was like a therapist. So, of course, Master Chief is going to be a little unstable, Mr. Locke. But in the show, the actor playing Master Chief, I don't know what kind of direction he was getting. What's his name? Pablo Schreiber. No hate. I love you in Den of Thieves. You and 50 Cent, killing it. But whatever the directors told you to do was wrong. Was absolutely wrong, because you having a mental breakdown on the set of the Halo episodes and you going a little crazy kind of turned me down a little bit. I was wondering what was going on, having a mental psychosis while doing this. I was like, that's not Master Chief. That's not it. Master Chief is like a wall. You can't read him. I mean, there's a reason why the Covenant called Master Chief the nickname the Demon. They called him a demon because he has no emotion other than murdering little grunts, punching them in the face with a pistol. So, you breaking down and kind of losing it on in the episodes, showing Master Chief in that way, definitely lets the fans like us take a step back and not really believe what's going on. Those two things alone is what took me out of watching Halo. I thought the show didn't get hit for a greenlit for a season 2, but it did. And I think reason why I don't remember that is because I didn't watch it. I kind of walked through season 1 and didn't watch season 2. I mean, I would say on the team, Vanek would make me believe more he's Master Chief than Master Chief himself. This is overall my opinion, and I hope you all agree with what I'm saying. I'm not trying to offend anyone, but I'm just saying, if you do like Halo, hey, to each his own. You can like it. It's okay. But I just had to get that out. So, overall, that's my tier list. Let's just say video game adaptations have come a long way. I mean, we went from Mario Brothers 1993 to Last of Us in 2023. And to me, that is a win in my book. So, did I rank these right, or did I butcher your favorite adaptation? If you like this video, smash the like button like Trevor Belmont smashed the Grim Reaper. Subscribe for more nerdy content like this. Hit the notification bell so that way you don't miss out on content like this. It helps out a ton. If you're a true nerd, hit that next video that's coming up. Would really appreciate it. As always, guys, stay nerdy, my friends.